Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus one more time. It seems as if every day I find myself with this microphone in my hand saying, "This is Eddie Marcus one more time." But it doesn't end just in the morning. It seems like 2 or 3 more times during the day I'm going to find myself with this microphone in my hand saying, "Eddie Marcus one more time." And why am I saying these things so many times? It's because somewhere in my early life as a child, I heard that somewhere it was possible, somehow, that human beings could live on earth as if they're living in heaven. Now, I've seen people living in poverty. I've seen people living from paycheck to paycheck. I've seen people living from food stamp to food stamp. I've seen people living when they're stealing from hand to hand to get something to eat. I've seen it all. But I heard somewhere that this was not necessary. I heard somewhere that we as people could live as though we were in heaven at this time, in these bodies. And ever since I heard that, it's been something resonating in my mind that if we tried hard enough and never gave up, that what I heard or what I dreamed about, whatever, could actually become a reality. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I spent most of my time in my adult life trying to see if I could play a major role in causing that to happen for us, for we the people. And it is not an easy task, but I haven't given up. I've gone through jails and prisons and divorces and all kinds of things as I'm not giving up to see that those of you who suffer, those of you who are living in shelters, who get fed at soup lines and at the gospel missions, and those of you who have to stand on the corner in the thumb, and those of you who sell your body trying to get some assistance, some financial assistance, or those of you who sell drugs or alcohol or whatever you can, or the black market trying to make a little extra money. And for those of you who find it necessary for you to take a gun and go try to rob somebody just to try to survive, I have to tell you that my heart cries out for you. And every step I take, every step I make it to make something better for you. And I do that only because I believe in a power that I can't see. A power that has proven to me that is more powerful as living here, as an American living in here. This God is more powerful than a white man. And you know, as a black man, we were taught, I don't care who you are, as a black man, you were taught that white was right and back and black would get back. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share a little information with you. It might help us to understand some of the crises that we have to go through. So the king and the British treated a certain part of that population like Trump and the Republicans are trying to treat the American people. See, the British people, and I'm calling them British people because they came here, coming running from the king. When they came here, the border was not closed. It was not someone of theirs saying, "You can't come here." In other words, they were able to come here. And having come here, you know they say that expression, you can take a person out of the country, but you can't take the country out the person. Well, yes, I guess these British people could have come from wherever they came from under the king that they were running from. But everything they learned, they brought it straight here with them. They started out right away taking land. Can you imagine just coming over here, another man to another man, gonna take what they had claimed as their own, and not necessarily take what they had claimed as their own. They were willing to share because there was a lot of land. You got some land, we got land, but you wanted to take their land and took it. My, what hell they must have had to go through over in the mother country and didn't learn a thing. It was so bad they ran from it and came over here and started establishing it on other people. It is a crying shame. Not only that, what they did to the natives, they came on over here and they captured blacks and wherever they could capture them at, in Africa and everywhere, and brought them over here in this country and turned them into slaves. I mean, actually trained the people to be slaves. You took the natives' land, trained the people to be slaves, and as far as the women was concerned, you sealed their mouths so they had nothing to say. But I'd like to say today, natives, blacks, and women, they're still in bondage underneath the training of the British people. Presently, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, presently, and I want you to listen to me because you can understand this stuff. It is not something just happening and then you can just let it pass by. There's a strange thing going on and you better listen up. Presently, Trump and the Republicans and the Senate are trying to make the USA a dictatorship where white men, and listen to me, white men with guns, police and military, and hate groups to keep white men as God in the USA. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying that I realize that all white men are not low down and dirty and evil, but they are part of that group that is low down and dirty and evil in the United States. Now, that doesn't mean that white people are the only ones that's low down, dirty, and evil. So are black people. So are Chinese people. So are Japanese people. So are Indian people. So are people everywhere on the face of the earth. Mean, low down, dirty, and some of them are actually good. But the reason that the evilness and the low downness and the dirtiness seems to be running all haywire is because no one seems to want to sit it down. In other words, the good people, you've heard good people, do nothing. And so, right now, we have a United States Senate. We have a president who hates black people, people of color, who believes that white is right and everything else ought to go to hell or to their shit houses where they come from, according to them. This is what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. These same people who have caused all this problem to the people in this country and trying to cause more problems to people who are trying to run from their hell, trying to find an escape, and they heard that this used to be a haven that they could come to. But now we got some demons, and I'm calling them demons because they act like demons. Donald Trump. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. You heard me say that people stand before the public and before God and take marriage vows that they have no intention whatsoever to keep, or if they do, they don't keep them. More people get divorced today than staying married. Now, what does that say about marriage vows? It don't mean a stinking thing. It doesn't mean to the people that make the vows, and they are not even making them to God, because God, we might listen to that crap. God is not listening to it. God is no fool. God is not stupid. God is not ignorant. So when you say you do, God knows exactly what you're talking about. And God is not being brought into that stuff. So, you turn around and you set yourself up a system of government started by men who were running from persecution, who came in and built a new system of persecution. And built it in such a way that it protects them. Yes, built in such a way that it protects them. And so you would find yourselves with white men, the United States Senate, people who were chosen by you, the people, selected, elected by you, the people, that they were going to work in good faith for the benefit of this nation. Now, maybe there was a code word there. They knew all the time they weren't going to work for the benefit of this nation. They were going to work for the benefit of themselves, because that's all they've been doing, is working for the benefit of themselves. And so this is why they took the natives' land. turned blacks into slaves and shut the woman's mouth. But I say to you today, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the Republicans, the Senate, they have taken those vows. Right now, you got a president who has done everything he possibly could to violate the rules, to set himself up above every man in this country. I don't care who you are, white, black, or otherwise. I don't care if you're a teacher, if you're in charge of some company. I don't care if you're a big major pope. I don't care who you are. We got a man sitting in the White House that says he has the best brains and the smartest thing that ever come along, not just in the United States, but in the world. The smartest man in the world, sitting up there in the White House. Put there by people who were disgusted with the way this system was was coming out, failure to work for their benefit. And so they got what many call the devil. Many call this man the devil. And now he could be the devil because he got that whole Senate. The Senate, who is supposed to do, to protect you, to protect your interest, and to do it non-biased. In other words, work this thing out. Everybody gonna come together and make sure that this is worked out proper. But they have said that they're going to side with the defendant. It doesn't care. They don't care what they said he's supposedly had done. They gonna get him. They gonna stand by his side. And now you go before the courts, the system as it's set up, and they take an oath before you, the American people, and the people of the world, before God, and say that they are going to go through this proceeding and they're going to be fair and just. They take that oath. They already told you they weren't going to be. Now they take that oath and say that they are. And as soon as they've taken that oath, they step off and start acting biased. Not for the American people, but backing themselves and this dictator. And to hell with you other people, white and blacks and women, doesn't matter, to hell with you. And what you see is people who have no respect for God whatsoever. The United States Senate has said, we have no respect for God. We'll stand beside Donald Trump any day before we stand beside God. Who is he talking to? You who suffer. Who do you have to call for assistance from? Nobody but God. And in order for God to serve you, you're going to have a proper knowledge of God. You can't listen to God talk to you by your oppressor. You cannot listen to God talk to you about those who steal everything that God has prepared for you. You can't listen to God spoken to you and talk to you by one who will kill you to make sure that you respect them over God. No, my friends. In other words, in order for you to hear anything about God, it's going to come from somebody who God has touched and proved himself to, and this person is willing to lay down their lives and tell you about God, because all that other stuff ain't nothing but a bunch of bull. The last time you heard the truth, as far as I can see, I ain't just talking about words, was when Martin Luther King was killed. And there might have been some more killed after him, standing up for truth, I don't know. But that was the time. Jesse Jackson didn't know the truth. None of these guys knew the truth. Martin Luther King knew the truth. And when he was killed, everybody says, oh. And we have not had anybody to represent the truth since then. Oh, I know you think about these guys that get together on Sundays, YPWW and Sunday school and all these things. They don't know nothing about truth. They are just sharing with you what they have been permitted to share with you. Dr. King was killed because he went beyond what was permitted. It was okay for him to talk about God. It was okay for them to talk about Jesus being the Son of God. That was fine. But you start talking about some justice. You start talking about treating people right. And the devil wasn't going for that. And all the devilish people recognized it and they shut up. So now, you got these devils, and I'm going to call them devils because anybody who set up and take a vow before God and then turn around and turn his back on his vow is a devil. I'm not even pretending like they're good people. They're devils. They're demons. So when you see Miss McConnell talking about, we don't care what y'all talking about, we going to stand behind this man, whether you like it or not, that's because they're devils. They don't give a stink about this nation. They don't give a stink about you. So I say to you, you natives, you've gone through what you've gone through, and you've gone through it ever since these people have come on these borders. It didn't stop for you. You still going through it. Even when you went to their schools and tried to learn their language and tried to learn their customs, they still doing it to you. And you black people, 400 years, you say 400 years you're going to stand up. Your back was not going to bend again. 400 years. You think you would be tired. And if you are, stand up. And you women, you know you've been treated, mistreated, ever since you've been on the face of the earth. They used to stone you for having sex with a man. Gave him a reward probably, but stone you. And today you can work just as hard as any man, probably smarter than many, but you got to get paid lesser than they do. Aren't you fed up with this crap? You think Trump is going to make things better for you? Do you think any president, man or woman, black or white, going to make anything better for you? Hell no. Why? Because the nation is built on hell's principles. In order for anything to happen different from you, it's going to be because you decide to trust in something else. I know ever since you've been here on this land, wherever you come from, you might have had some spiritual guidance, but over here, you had a whip and a stick and a white man beating your butt to change you and to make you into the slave that you are today. Even though I can stand here and tell you that the white man in America or no man in Britain or anywhere made the earth. It was made by an invisible power that you and I can't see today. But the evidence is in the trees, is in the grass, is in the ground, is in the air, is in the clouds, is in the stars. It's in you. And it's in me. That's the evidence. The kind-heartedness, where is that? Well, it's sleep. But I want to challenge you today, ladies and gentlemen, tell you that this invisible God, when he prepared this earth and for you to come on this earth, he made sure that living on this earth, living according to the principles that was designed at your creation. You can live right here in Minnesota, in Mississippi, in Teaneck, New Jersey, in Chicago, in California, in Atlanta, in Alabama. You can live just like you're in heaven. It's been set up that way. That almighty invisible God set it up that way. And the only reason we don't do it today is because we don't know anything about it. Why? Because the ones who knew about it sold out because they wanted to live. This demon said, if you don't obey me, I'll kill you. What did he say? The demon said, if you don't obey me, I'll kill you. And he killed a couple of them who wouldn't obey. So because the people didn't know the truth, they decided it would be better to live and maybe the truth would come to them one day. In fact, they were expecting the truth to come and deliver them out of this bondage. They didn't know that they were going to have to receive the truth and use the truth to walk up out of this bondage. And if you come out of it, that's the way you're going to come out of it. Ain't nobody going to give you no freedom. The only one gave you freedom was God. You gave it up. God has made sure that every last one of you on the face of the earth in America, in Minnesota, got a job, a career of your own choosing. They give you the greatest joy you could possibly have. That's what the invisible God has done. You didn't know that. This is probably the first time you ever heard it. That God made sure that food, clothing, and shelter, and everything that you would need in those regards for survival would be planted right here in the skills and the knowledge of how to fix it and use it. That invisible power did that. Well, time passes fast. So make sure that you would never be hungry. Make sure that education would be unlimited and unrestricted, so that you can be the best at anything that God has made you to be. You can be it, and we, the people on the face of the earth, would benefit from it. Make sure that every last one of you should have health care from the womb to the tomb. That's the God I'm telling you about. And you will listen to a God called Founding Fathers, democracy, capitalism, who allows lying, cheating, stealing, and killing, have and have not, terror, racism, and bigotry, and hatred, killing and war. That's what we've given allegiance to. What about this God that says you can live as though you're in heaven? No more lying, no more cheating, but peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of life and the fulfillment of your dreams. And you turn your back on it every day. Look at you. How often are you talking about this junk that Donald Trump has put you into? Listen, every day for the past, what is this day? This is 20th or something. 22nd or something. Every day this year, I've been telling you about the glory of God, the fantastic nature of God, the beauty that has been laid down and prepared for you if you'll claim it. You think the news media has come to me and said, what am I talking about? You think anybody, any news media, any source, paper, radio, TV, has said anything to you about your liberation, about your freedom, about the joy of life that God has prepared for you and that you can have right now the moment you claim it? Has anybody said anything to you about that? Have any other preacher told you that I talked to a man named Marcus and he said God said this? Did they tell you that? No, they're telling you the same old thing in the Bible. They're keeping you in bondage. That's all they're telling you, because that's what they've been taught. That's what they've been trained. That's what they've been permitted to teach you. And God sits back there and look at you and want to cry, but he knows one day you're going to wake up. Now, I don't know exactly how all that stuff works. I'm not going to try to pretend like I do. I just want to tell you right now, the power to make this thing right now is in our hands. We can keep pointing the finger at the devil if you want to, but you can stop pointing your finger at the devil, because the devil has been identified. You see the devil for what he is. And you know there's another choice. The thing of it is, what choice will you make? Will you make the new choice, or will you continue to walk on in hand with the devil? Right now you're walking on hand in hand with the devil. But I say to you, 400 years in bondage, I say to the natives, all that God has given you has been ripped off. I say to you, the women, totally disrespect. I'm asking you, when are you going to wake up? When are you going to wake up? Aren't you tired of taking your kids to the doctor, or you to the doctor, but you can't get the service because you can't afford it? Aren't you tired of going to the dentist and you need care and you can't get it because you can't afford it? Aren't you tired of living in your houses falling apart and your cars falling apart, but you can't get them fixed because you can't afford it? You're living in a system that has robbed you from all God's glory and all God's blessing. And I'm sitting here telling you this stuff, hollering and screaming. And the devil laughs because he knows you're not going to pay any attention to this. Well, there'll come a time, I guarantee you. You know, when they told the people to say, don't build your house over here, because this has got a lot of brush and a fire can start, but it thought it was looking beautiful. Let me have my house here. And so they built the houses in that beautiful location. And right now, that's where the fires are starting, in those beautiful locations, burning up all those houses. You have people that are saying, ooh, look at the lake. I like having my house by the lake. It looks so beautiful. Yeah, it did. And so you built your houses by the seashore, overlooking the lake. But the rains are coming, the floods are coming. Yeah, my friends. When these things come, you wake up. But see, when you wake up having a flood, You should have woke up before the flood came. You could have prepared for it. But waking up after the flood has come, you ain't got nowhere to stay. Yes, my friends. This is what this is about right now. Preparation. Now you guys are they are trying to make sure that the dictator Trump stays in office. And all these people that supporting him stood up, wrote on a line, signed on a dotted line that they were going to be fair in this proceeding. When they already told you they weren't going to be. And having signed on a dotted line and took the oath, they're now showing you that they don't give a stinking about God. And you still listening to them. The Methodists still listening to the government. The Baptists still listening to the government. Pentecostals still listening to the government. Catholics still listening to the government. What you're doing, you're listening to your God. You're not listening to the true God because you know nothing of the true God. You were lied to in the beginning, and you've been lied to all the way. And those few people that came along that God showed the truth and they tried to bring it to you, you allowed them to be killed. And this is why the Democrats could not prove themselves any better than the Republicans. This is why it didn't matter whether you had a Democrat or a Republican. You had poverty, you had crime, you had violence, you had lying, you had cheating, you had stealing, you had hatred, you had racism, you had bigotry. All because it was under the same God. The same God we've been under ever since America has been here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, look at me. I'm an old man. I used to didn't want to say that, but I'm an old man. I lived a long time. And my hair has dyed. It used to be black, and then I let it come white because it looks so pretty. But looking at old kind of make you feel old. It make you want to act like you can't get around. So I dyed my hair black, white, back black, because I ain't through yet. And I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that is my mission. My mission. My mission. I used to want to be an actor, but that ain't my mission no more. I used to want to be a star. That ain't my mission no more. I used to want to be an entertainer. That ain't my mission no more. My mission is to lift up what I know that you don't know. And that is that there is a real God that is responsible for everything. And the answer to every last one of your prayers is sitting right there out of the hand of the fantastic God that is open for you. All you got to do is reach out and get it. But that comes by an expression of faith. And without that faith, you ain't getting nothing but hell. Ladies and gentlemen, I really thought I could tell you this in 3 or 4 minutes, but it didn't happen like that. And in fact, I wrote 2 little notes on these 2 cards. And I didn't even finish those. I kind of referred to them or said something about everything that's on it. But I just want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, as long as I'm living, I don't know how long they're going to be, I'm going to tell you about a God that is real. I'm going to tell you about a God that your beautiful home is out there. You can't see it, but it's out there ready. Your education, your beautiful life is out there ready. You can't see it because you've been blinded to it. But I'm going to keep on keeping on. And I pray to God that somehow, someday, some way, your eyes will be open and you will begin to see the truth, begin to see the light, just like I do. And I hope you don't just sit down, because if you do, you'll start being like the United States Senate, lying your ass off. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.